With the dogs in our home, it's important that we understand what they're trying to tell us. And so we also want to be able to communicate back to them what we're trying to tell them. We have needs, we have wants, and both sides of that communication are important. This is for safety as well as health, stress reduction, and a whole lot of other factors. So for example, the safety is for our families and for the people who encounter our dogs, as well as for our dogs. When we reduce the stress in our dogs, we also have the ability to lengthen their lives because stress has a long-term health effect. Communication can also increase happiness, which is great, both for us and for our dogs. There's nothing more joyful than going for a walk with your dog and being able to communicate both ways on what you're interested in, where you can go, what's safe, what's not safe, so that you have a nice flow to your walks and to your daily lives. Stronger bonds, training. When we understand what our dogs want and what they need, we're able to train with them more effectively and more humanely. And certainly communication both ways is part of humane care. So being able to understand what they're looking for is important. For example, if we have a miscommunication, if we think our dogs are trying to overtake our lives, then we might be compelled to dominate them, so to pin them to the ground or do something like that. When we really understand that their needs are not really related to power over us, we're able to have a much more humane care or much more humane treatment of our animals. So the agenda for this DVD is to first go over how to understand your dog. Second, what are your dogs saying? So what specifically are they saying when you understand them? And then how to be understood in the other direction as well. One of the great things about working with dogs is that you can actually learn to teach your dog how to talk back to you. So we've got observation, we can ask them a question, but we can also teach them to request their specific needs. So for example, they can learn to ring a bell to go inside or outside. They can bark to go inside or outside. They can go to the door. So some specific behaviors that might be natural, like the barking or going to the door, you can start to reinforce by opening that door, and they'll do more of that. Nuzzling your hand is a way to say, I want attention. Bringing the leash, for example, saying they want to go for a walk. Bringing the food dish, bringing the water bowl. The water bowl should really never be empty, so hopefully you won't need that communication. But bringing the leash is a really nice way to say, hey, walk me. Looking at the toy cupboard. So I have asked my dog, show me, and he has to kind of show me what he's interested in, and very often it's something in the toy cupboard. Sorry, I just covered that. Holding the chin on the couch. So Peanut, for example, will hold his chin on the couch to say that he'd like to get up. And I can always say, no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to, your request has been denied. So for example, I'll do this all done hand signal whenever I don't want to give that consequence. So I'm always answering his question, either by giving him the result that he wants or by saying all done, which is I heard your request and that request has been denied. Dogs communicate to us all the time. So here are some ways that Peanut can specifically give me requests. What do you need? Okay. So notice his little nose going in the direction. He said that one.
One of these?
And I said, really?
Which one? That one?
Okay. He said, yes, I like that. Thank you very much. Other things, for example, getting up on the couch. I say,
Is that what you're asking?
do you want up on the couch? And he said, no.
Yeah.
Notice how quickly he moves to go outside versus going up on the couch. So he has permission to not do behaviors. When I say up, he doesn't have to jump up. He can bring the leash to say that he would like to go for a walk, and he can also ring the bell to say he wants to go inside. So that's an older behavior. The bell is much more appropriate. In the blue zone, the dog is able to offer behavior, move around, and does not need to be interrupted by the human whatsoever. The choices are good. As they reach the shoreline of that blue zone or the threshold, you'll start to see that they might be a little too interested in something. So let's talk about that behavior. So for example, you have a dog who's walking directly at a trigger. That's a sign that you might need to slow them down and let them decide something else. So it's basically they've got this behavioral momentum. They're doing a specific behavior. They're likely to continue doing that behavior. So what we do with BAT training is do a slow stop, so they have a chance to not move forward and then decide what to do. So they're on a loose lead, loose leash, decide what to do at that point. But let's talk more about that behavior. So either walking directly at a trigger or sniffing while walking directly at the trigger, doesn't matter what their head is doing really, or they're accelerating their movement. So let's say you were following another dog and then suddenly they speed up, or they're walking toward a squirrel, tree, or whatever, and suddenly they speed up. So that's a sign that you might be going over threshold. I think it's important to communicate to your dog that you hear them as well. You understand that they have a request. Or that you have a way to interact with them in that way. So first of all, providing meaningful consequences. So if they're looking for something or asking for something, that they can have that. Again, that all done signal to say that I heard that request, but you can't get that right now. I also really like doing mirroring with my dog. So if he does something that I'm physically able to do, like stretching, I think it's really cool to do a yoga stretch when he does one. It's also really good for me because it reminds me to do some stretching several times a day because, as you know, dogs like to stretch. Do things that you both find fun. A lot of times people will take their dog to sports or agility or obedience that the dog finds fun for part of the time, but the rest of the day the dog doesn't find it fun and they might find it stressful. So looking for activities that you both enjoy thoroughly, I think is really important. Overall, we have trouble communicating with our dogs when we're not paying attention. When we're spending too much time talking and not enough time listening, we find that the relationship starts to break down. But it's so great when you actually start paying attention to your dog, answering some of their requests so that they're more likely to answer your requests. I really hope that this helps you, and please keep talking and listening to your dog.